Hello everyone, and welcome to Virginia Beef Council's first webinar. Today we're going to provide a brief overview to the checkoff program, the responsibilities of Virginia Beef Council, and how you can benefit from both these entities. The Beef Checkoff is a national program that was created to help market beef in and outside of our country, so that cattle producers can continue to do what they do best, raise cattle. For every animal they sell, $1 is paid to the checkoff. Most beef cattle are sold several times throughout their life, and it is estimated that $3 to $4 is put into the checkoff per head of cattle. Once the dollar is collected, it is split. 50 cents goes to the national program, and 50 cents stays within the state of sale. The national checkoff spearheads many large campaigns, research studies, and educational efforts. The most well-known campaign is Beef, It's What's for Dinner. The 50-cent allotments that stay within Virginia are managed by the Virginia Beef Council. The Beef Council has 15 board members that represent all regions of the state, as well as various industry segments. It is this board that reviews your grant proposal and decides whether funding will be provided. The board receives a lot of great ideas for funding, but unfortunately cannot fund them all. Beef cattle is the second largest farm commodity in Virginia. With an average herd size of only 30 animals, it is a lot of small businesses providing a big economic impact for our state. Even though our state has such a large impact from beef cattle, we are still far from the top states in the country, like Texas, Nebraska, or Kansas. In fact, we represent only 1.6% of the entire cattle population in the United States. Remember when I said that we received just 50 cents per animal sold in Virginia? That means we're a nonprofit. It also means that our budget for the year entirely depends on how many cattle sales occur in Virginia. We do not do additional fundraising, and that means we have to make the most of every dollar. For that reason, the board has developed a marketing plan based on national and state research to make sure we make the biggest impact for beef that we can. And with just one full-time staff person to the council for the entire state, we're always looking for ways to maximize that impact. That's where you come in. Our mission at the Virginia Beef Council is to enhance consumer preference for beef and sustain Virginia families. By increasing demand for beef in restaurants, grocery stores, and in homes within Virginia, we can sustain the Virginia farmers that raise beef animals. We can also sustain Virginia families by providing a wholesome, healthy, and delicious protein to fuel families through their active lives. Within that mission, we also have 4 priority areas. Our board looks through the grant proposal applications and immediately looks for how your grant goals align with our priority areas for the year. In order to increase your chance for funding, you need to make it very clear how your project will extend the efforts of the Beef Council. Now let's take a deeper dive into those 4 priority areas and what the priorities might include to give you a better idea of how our funding works. Priority 1 is beef's image. Now you might think, anything that looks good for beef improves beef's image and fits in this category. Technically, you would be correct, but our council wants to take it a step further. This category is really built around the idea of shifting mentalities regarding beef's image. There are many food concerns out there today, and they aren't specific to just beef. For example, hormone usage, antibiotic resistance, overall welfare of animals before they become food, healthfulness of the product, and how to sort through all this confusing information in mainstream media. A project in beef's image might be a farm tour for nutritionists or moms. It could be teaching segment about what labels really mean, etc. It's important to point out here that the Virginia Beef Council and Beef Checkoff in general has a neutral standing on beef choices. We recognize that consumers have multiple choices when it comes to beef, including grading like prime, choice, or select, and production method, such as grass-fed, grain-fed, organic, or natural. While there are some slight differences in taste and fatty acid profiles, our research shows that there is no substantial nutritional difference between different types of U.S. beef. We also have producers in our state that raise all different types of beef, and we represent all of them equally. We celebrate the variety available in our state and the U.S. as a whole, and leave it to the consumer to decide what choice is best for their individual family by providing them educational resources. The Council's second priority area is health and nutrition. There is a plethora of data out there to show that beef can be part of a healthy diet. We know that beef provides energy as a power protein, is a good source of iron, and many other vitamins and minerals that your body needs. This is a message that we do not want to be lost on our consumers. Healthy bodies are perhaps the best way to sustain Virginia families, and we want to encourage beef in a healthy diet. Projects in this area could vary widely from nutritional research to nutrition outreach. In addition to strictly nutrition messaging, the Virginia Beef Council already has an ongoing project called Team Beef. Virginia Beef Council sponsors a team of athletes who act as ambassadors to beef as a healthy and nutritious fuel source. This team is encouraged to give back to their communities by volunteering at food banks, discussing nutrition and training tips with their peers, and representing beef as a healthy protein during their races and competitions. The third priority area is beef's convenience. We hear from some consumers that they think beef is complicated or hard to prepare, but we know this is simply not true. We have a wide collection of recipes in under 30 minutes, as well as cook once, dine twice meal solutions. We're also seeing increasing popularity with one of beef's most convenient forms, jerky. Projects that promote convenient meal solutions or teach cooking skills to make beef meal preparation easier are great fits for this priority area. Product research or development for easy cook options are also a good opportunity for this area. The fourth and final priority area is beef safety. Beef in the United States is incredibly safe, and we want beef to continue to be so safe that our consumers take this characteristic for granted. Whether you're discussing consumer food safety, such as safe handling and cooking temperatures, or developing a new method for beef safety during processing, this area could be a good fit for your program. I hope that this overview has given you a little better understanding of our mission and priorities for growing beef opportunities in our state. This is just a starting place. We welcome creative ideas, and if you can showcase how it fits in our priority areas, you're in pretty good shape. Now I want to go over a few things to remember and best practices. First, the Council does fund some production-based programs. Keep in mind, though, that our target audience are consumers and influencers to consumers. Make sure the message is tied back to making an impact for the end product, beef. Second, we cannot fund projects that promote a specific company. Third, because we're a small nonprofit, we don't make a habit of sponsoring lunches, meals, or sampling. Our research shows that typically the people who participate in these types of events are already huge fans of beef. While we're thankful for those folks, we really want to teach skills and knowledge that will provide a sustained increase in beef consumption instead of a one-time event. We love youth programs. However, there are more youth programs yearly in our state than our entire yearly budget could sponsor. If you are a youth program, make sure you incorporate some aspects that reach outside of preaching to the choir, and how the youth will extend the priority areas to everyday consumers. Lastly, make sure you understand our follow-up requirements. If you are granted money for a program in the upcoming fiscal year, you have until the end of September 2017 to complete the program and turn in all the final paperwork. Only after you complete the program and final reports are given will you receive the other half of funding. The first half of funding is given to you when you receive grant approval. Make sure you list tangible measurements of success both in your proposal and in your final reports. Survey data, analytics, and audience sizes are just a few things you can measure to determine how big of an impact you've made. All receipts for physical materials and supplies need to be turned in order to receive reimbursement. And finally, you'll need to turn in all measurement data, photos, and a final summary explaining the project and the results. There are a few special exceptions to this funding arrangement, and if you have questions or special needs, please don't hesitate to reach out or put it in your proposal. This concludes our educational webinar on how Virginia Beef Council awards grants. I hope this has answered most of your questions and perhaps even given you a few ideas to send our way. We know that not everything fits perfectly in these priorities, So if you have questions along the way, our staff is happy to provide more direction. Our next grant deadline is Monday, August 15th. If you can't make it in time for that, don't worry. Our next grant proposal time after this will happen in February, and another one next June. Thanks for your interest in Virginia Beef Council and supporting the beef community.